Hello there! Today we'll talk about this little beast right here that is very dear to me, the original Blackmagic pocket cinema camera. Yep, it comes from a distant 2013 when they actually meant it to be pocket, when they named it like this. It's been 10 years and there are a lot of reviews on YouTube about what this little camera can do in terms of cinematic video quality, and I can only confirm it, like, this tiny little camera has one of the best and the most organic looking images among all the digital cameras I've used. And I've compared it to a Real Alexa Mini. Like, I had a Real Alexa Mini standing side by side with this little camera, and the images looked so similar. I was really surprised. So yeah, and like, it basically has the same technology behind the sensor. If I'm not mistaken, it has double gain, not dual ISO, but dual gain sensor technology like Aries LF3 sensor. So yeah, it's actually really close in terms of even technology behind it. It uses Super 16 Fairchild sensor, and I'm not sure about the history behind Fairchild company, but it's a shame they don't use it anymore. Like, I really like the color reproduction, the cinematicness of this little sensor. So yeah, I wish they made a bigger one, like Super 35 or full frame. That would be awesome. I think they use Sony's sensors now. I might be wrong, but I think they're using Sony's sensor in modern pockets. And yeah, of course this camera is not perfect, it has its flaws, and first one being is battery life. And while we're talking about battery life, I want to show you some trick that I like to do when it comes to using this camera. So I'll be quick. Look at this. I use a small rig battery plate for NPF batteries, and I stick it right here like this, and I have a NPF battery, NPF 980, which can run this camera for a very long time. And somewhere here I have a cable, which I can't find, that comes from a DC port on the battery plate to a micro DC port on the pocket. And I basically use the battery as a hand grip, and I shoot in Super 16 kind of style, like this. It's really comfortable, it gives extra stability, and I can pull focus. So yeah, it looks cool, it feels old school, and it's really compact when you try to be super minimalistic in your rigging. Yeah, when I don't want to rig it up, this is how I use it, so you can try it out for yourself. Anyway, let's go back to the camera review. So the reason you might have clicked on this video is because the title would probably say something like the best hybrid camera under $500. And it's actually true. If you are a cinematographer first, or if you want to be a cinematographer, not a videographer, but a cinematographer, where you learn the cinematic workflow on set and post-production, where you learn how to properly light and expose your sets and to work in controlled environment like the actual cinema sets work. If you want to learn that, and also how to work with video raw files, how to color grade them properly, and you don't need crazy high frame rate options, and you're in a tight budget of $500, then yes, I still think that this is the best hybrid camera under $500, even in 2023. But you may say, hey, but a hybrid camera is supposed to take photos as well, right? Yes, and you'll be surprised that this camera shoots raw photos when it shoots raw videos. Let me explain. It's actually pretty simple. This camera shoots in cinema DNG format, which is basically a sequence of stacked together raw DNG stills. So technically this little camera shoots raw stills in 24, 25 and 30 frames per second. Not bad, right? So what you can do, if you're like me, you can drop those raw sequences in DaVinci, pick a frame you like, edit, and yes, all the raw features are there, and export in whichever way you like. Or if you prefer Photoshop or Lightroom, you can open the sequence folder of that clip, watch it through the separate frames, pick the one you want, and drag into the software. Simple as that. I personally took it to Chernobyl and Pripyat back in 2021 because of how small it is, and I could actually fit it in my pocket. And I took some cool pictures with it too. I know it only has 2 megapixels or something, but on Instagram you can't really tell the difference. So even 10 years later, it's a good value for money. I mean, internal raw video and photos for $500. Not bad. And if you think it is bad only because it doesn't shoot 4K, well, let me tell you this. It doesn't matter. And here is the proof. Back in November, I was helping my friends to shoot a short film for TV. I brought my Pocket 4K that is sitting right there, and this little guy as a backup camera. And there were some shots that were supposed to be on a gimbal. And let me tell you, Pocket 4K was heavy as hell. It was rigged up like this, and we didn't have a lot of time to assemble it back and forth. So I simply put my Pocket on a gimbal, and those shots were shown on a national TV, and nobody ever asked if they were 4K or not. My point is, it's not about resolution, but more about choosing the right tools for a job. Which leads me to the point of why I'm considering to sell it. And don't get me wrong, this is a great camera, and even after all those years, it still holds up pretty well. But my current gigs and situation requires me to have something more universal and run and gun. That's why I bought myself this Panasonic S5 I'm filming myself with right now. S5 is a great hybrid camera. It's full frame, it has great dynamic range in Vlog, and 10-bit has plenty of information when I have to match it with my Pocket 4K when it's needed, so it's a win for me. But it also costs 3 times more than this little camera, so price always should be considered first when you're on the market. And since I don't have enough hands to hold 3 cameras, I think I'd rather sell Pocket and invest money in the gear I need more. Anyway, the original BMPCC is a great camera. It produces great images and still can be used on professional sets. For aspiring filmmaker, it's gonna be a great taste of a cinema camera for an affordable price. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to share your opinion in the comments, and may the art be with you.